Hafa day, everyone, and welcome to Estoria Ta, our show where we feature more delegates for the Festival of Pacific Arts. 27 island nations will be converging on Guam in May to celebrate culture and traditions. In our show, we introduce you to our delegates proudly representing our island.
Buenas and Hafa day. My name is James Bomba. I'm from the village of Agana Heights and I'm 35 years old. I've been weaving for the past 20 years. I started in 1995. My auntie Rosario taught me and my uncle Pedro.
Bomba, who is now 35 years old, says his interest in weaving actually began when he was 15. His grandmother had fallen ill. His uncle Pedro weaved her a traditional basket and filled it with fruits and vegetables as a gift. He not only began learning how to weave, but about his family's history.
I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family that they had this knowledge and they still remembered it because they were getting up in age at that time, but they still remembered how to do a lot of these things. They taught me a lot of the basics, and then from there I expanded my knowledge by seeking out other people. I've actually learned how to weave certain things from the other islanders too. Like I can weave baskets from Palau and Chuk, and it's like a sharing of knowledge. And if I were to show them something, they would share back, and it was nice because that kind of fits in with the Vespec thing, what we share.
Bomba is co-chair of Guam's weaving delegation to the Festival of Pacific Arts. But aside from his role in Festpac, he teaches those willing to learn and pass on the tradition. Bomba teaches weaving at Sagam Katuran Chamorro, at Oka Point, and at the University of Guam as a special studies course.
There are those that say that weaving is just over, under, which is in its most basic form the truth. But the process itself is very time consuming and laborious. You have to pick the materials, you have to pick the right materials for the project. Then you have to make sure that they're the right size and shape. The leaves, if the leaves are too short, you couldn't weave a big basket, and if they're too long, you would waste a lot of material. And with today's current situation of invasive species affecting the plants we use for creating these items, wasting is not an option.
Bomba is also a student at the University of Guam pursuing an undergraduate degree in secondary education. His goal is to teach Chamorro to future generations. He says he's honored not only to be able to represent Guam, but also to help in the planning process.
I think that it'll be the largest event outside of World War II, I guess, that Guam will see in a long time. This is many people coming, many people showcasing their culture and language and traditions, and on the flip side, we'll be trying to put our best foot forward as well. I'm interested in seeing what the other islands are doing to preserve their cultures, because in reality, with the global connectedness that we have through the internet and through telephones and media, we're not the only island struggling with, I wouldn't say identity crisis, because that's not what it is. We have an identity, but the maintaining and the preservation and perpetuation of culture is difficult because whereas I think parents don't want their children to struggle. They want them to have a good life, however that's interpreted. And so I would love to see what kind of programs and activities they have in place in their home island that is assisting with this, because in several other islands close by in Micronesia, weaving is not as prevalent as it once was. It still exists, and it's done exponentially more than it is on Guam, but they're dealing with issues too of cultural change, because culture is dynamic. It's not static. It's not what's written in a book is only that small snippet that the people who wrote the book were able to see at that moment. But it's always changing. So I'm curious to see what they do to keep it alive.
Still to come on Estoria Ta, we introduce you to another delegate using his hands to carve his place in island history.